Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is Kathy at Attic Treasures, etc. And today, for at least the first part of this video, we're in my kitchen. Because what I wanted to do was I picked up one of these Chindi rugs at Walmart for $10, and it was, let's see, 36 by 40. So I've already taken part of it apart and taken some of the strips out and washed them to use in making journals. But I wanted to just kind of demonstrate how to take it apart while also preserving the strings, because I would like to wind these strings onto cards and then use them in binding my junk journals. So on the ends, I've already taken apart the other end, obviously, but on the ends you can see where they are attached. So you can just snip these threads, and I don't really want to snip them all because I don't want to release all of the threads. But you can see what it's done here. So it's kind of removing it from the end piece here. That's what I did on the other end. So now all you have to do to remove these strips is simply pull out. I have to do it from the other angle. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to do this while I'm standing on a stool so I can see on my phone. Okay, so you just start at the end and just pull it. And the strips aren't attached to each other or anything, so they just come right out. So that was one, and then usually you start at the other end, like so, and get it started, and then pull it out. Same with the next one. You just start tugging on it and pulling it. And then once you get, a good amount out, or all of them, or however you want to do this, you can then put them in a mesh bag or something like that and run them through your washing machine. I didn't bother with putting them in a bag. I just washed them on a gentle cycle. Actually, it was like the gentlest cycle on my washing machine. And yeah, you know what, they did get tangled. But I expected that, and it wasn't that big of a deal. The reason, well, my mesh bag is not very big, so that's why I didn't use it. But you can see when you pull them apart that these are really kind of cool fabrics, and you can use them in various ways in your junk journals. But I will tell you that a lot of them are pretty dirty, and sometimes even weird stuff gets trapped inside these tightly wound fibers. But as you pull them apart, you'll see that there are some really, really pretty fabrics in here. So that's what I've been doing with the Chindi rugs. And it's called Jeweled Chindi. And they are available at Walmart for, this one was 36 by 40. It was about $10. And I looked up Chindi, and it refers to the waste fabric used in textile industries. So it's like the waste part of it that they throw away. So how nice that they recycle it and make these beautiful rugs. When you're looking at them, you can kind of eyeball it to see what kinds of fibers are in here. And this one I really liked because of all the blues and greens, and I can see lots of patterns in here. Now, be sure to get the jeweled Chindi, because I saw some other Chindi rugs in there that didn't specify that they were jeweled, and they looked really plain. Some of the fibers are silky, like this one, and then others are more cottony, like that. So you might find some mildew and stuff like that inside. You just cut those parts off and you're good to go. So anyway, that's just a really quick little tip on what to do or how to take apart a Chindi rug. It's super simple. If you don't care about preserving the strings, then you can just sit on the couch and just keep snipping and snipping. But I like the strings. I mean, they're kind of pretty. So before I head over to my craft room, I just wanted to show you some of the fabrics that I've already gotten out of this rug. These are all washed already. And look at, there's this like big pile of fabric that I can use in journals, and look at how pretty that is. It's got some shine to it. This one is a little bit flocked, I guess, kind of sheer, but also has some texture to it. Look how pretty this one is. Lots of really, really, really pretty fabrics. This one is more of a cotton, but I love the pattern on it. So these will be great to use in journals, and you don't have to take apart the whole rug to get a lot of usable fabric for your journals. So that's what I wanted to demonstrate before I took it all back to my craft room. This one, oh, I love that. Of course, I'm really, really partial to ocean colors and anything that is jewel toned, but really, really pretty. Okay, all right, so now back to my craft room. Okay, I'm back in my craft room now, and I have some of this beautiful green Chindi here that I took out of the rug that I showed you earlier. And somebody said, well, what can you do with Chindi? And then the suggestion was actually kind of funny. It's like, well, I don't know, I can build a house, I can make a pterodactyl or build an airplane, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it in a junk journal. And it's not going to be a big junk journal, just a small one, because I'd like to do the whole journal in this video if my phone holds out. So what I'm going to do first is I've got this wallpaper here, and I want to give it a little bit more structure than just what I would get with putting the Chindi on here, like that. So I'm going to take some paper towel and put some paper towel on here and then put the Chindi on. So I'm really hoping this is going to work. Take my scissors, and again, it doesn't have to be totally secured down because of the fact that I'm going to sew around it when I get it all done. Of course, that's an optional step. If you don't have a sewing machine, you don't need to do that. You can get a really decent sewing machine for not too much money at Walmart. I did that when my regular sewing machine broke when I was making masks for the Relief Crafters Association at the beginning of the pandemic. I was making them for frontline health workers. And for some reason, sewing the elastic on broke my machine. And everything was closed, including the repair shop, so I couldn't get it fixed. Well, I can't be without a sewing machine. I haven't been without a sewing machine since I was 9 years old. So I went to Walmart and bought an inexpensive Brother machine, and it's okay. It doesn't have as many stitches, and but it's a good basic first machine. Now I need to cover this with collage medium or Mod Podge or whatever you have to glue the Chindi down. And I think I'm going to do it in stages so that the collage medium doesn't dry. So I'll do half and lay down half and then glue the other half down. And it's quite wrinkly, but that's okay. It just means it'll stretch. And that's what I want it to do. I want it to cover, and then I'll be trimming the excess off. Okay, so that just needs to dry a little bit before I put it through my machine. Okay, so while that's drying, rather than just have the camera off the whole time, I thought I'd show you what else is going to go in this little journal. This is some double-sided scrapbook paper that I've had for probably 10 years by K & Company. And then I have some coffee dyed paper, some more coffee dyed paper that I used a lace doily on. And, oh look, a lace doily. Some more of that coffee dyed paper, more of the lace. So I have a little flip out there. And this is some stationery that I found at a thrift store, and I just think it's adorable, but obviously it needs something on this side. And then more coffee dyed paper, and then this will be the center of my signature. Came from a book about pansies, and I just really like the feel of this. It just is really, really pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and do all the sewing at the same time, but before I do that, I thought, well, why not go ahead and stencil this? I'd like to kind of keep within the color scheme of the wallpaper. So I'm going to use Rusty Hinge Distress Oxide. So that gives it a little bit more interest. And then I think in the corners, I'll do a little bit of this. So when I'm choosing papers for a journal, I like a variety of sizes and patterns. I like to, if I can, it's not really necessary, but I like for my journals to stay within, at least some semblance of a color scheme, which, obviously isn't necessary. But I really like the cohesiveness of that. So now this is dry enough for me to sew on. And I'm going to also sew some of these other pages just around the edges, just so I can get a little bit more interest in there. And then I'll be back. All right, I'm back, and I have sewn around the edges and trimmed off the excess. I also sewed on this pretty piece of lace right here, and basically inked around anywhere where there was white showing. There's a little bit more right there. And then I took some of the pages, and as you can see, I just sewed around them. I used a variety of stitches. I'm really random about it. Nothing spectacular. So just a mixture of straight stitch and zigzag. And this one I kind of randomly, I ran around it twice so that it would kind of overlap a little bit. Okay, so I'd like to work on the cover a little bit more before I start working on the pages. First of all, I like my journals to have some sort of a theme, and I didn't really know what this was going to be until I found these two lovely ladies, and I thought, well, what about friendship? I mean, that's so cute. They're so cute with their little high heels on, and they look like best friends. They remind me of me and my best friend. And so I'm going to glue these ladies on the front with Fabri-Tac, and then as a little embellishment up here, I'm going to add this little flower garland. And I also think that the corners should have a little bit of love. Now I found these corners in the buttons section of Joann Fabrics, believe it or not. And these are just plastic, they've got flat backs on them. So you just glue them right on. You don't have to, wind them or wrap them around the edge of the paper or the corner. I also have this little fussy cut that I did from a book, and I wanted to put it on the front with this little embellishment with the word friendship inside. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry, but look at how cute is that. All right, so now on to decorating some of these pages. Okay, I have this little strip, this embellishment that I've had hanging around for a while, and I think it will look nice in here, so that's just a nice little addition there. These are, a lot of this stuff is just stuff that I've had laying around for a long time and just trying to get it used up. That's one of the nice things about journals that aren't full size, that you can make a nice little journal that's not too big. Some people are kind of intimidated by big journals, but these are a nice little size that you can make in an afternoon and be done with it and use up a bunch of your scraps. Now to use some more of that Chindi fabric, I have a lot of these little strips, and I like to put them together to make little clusters. And I just sort of randomly put them on here like so. And then the other thing I'm going to do is put some of the fabric behind it, and then that makes a nice little cluster. And just to hold it in place until I can get to that point, I'm just going to use my little stapler, Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher, and then take some of these scraps. Okay, I'm going to be right back because I'm going to sew this on, and I shall return. I think this looks good just as it is, but I don't want to leave it quite like that. In fact, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see better what I'm doing. So I have this little word that I stamped out with my little connector stamps, and it says treasures, and I stamped it on top of some paper that I had inked with some of the distress inks. I think I sprayed it actually, and then I embossed it, and then I didn't want to use it So now I'm going to use it here and then add this little butterfly to sort of finish it off. And then I just think that makes a super cute little cluster. I love that. What do you think? A little bit of that fabric behind there. And then I have this page that's shorter than the rest of them. So I'm going to put it on this page so that it hangs out over the top. I love mushrooms. I love looking at them. I love decorating with them. I love eating them. My husband, not so much. I'll tell you, I have tried sneaking mushrooms. Well, actually, shh, don't tell him. I do actually sneak mushrooms into his food sometimes, so that he doesn't know that they're there, because they are so healthy. They're very cancer protective. Okay, that's adorable. So you may wonder why I'm using different kinds of glue. It's because if I'm just gluing paper to paper, I like to use the art glitter glue, particularly if it's a little bit thicker paper. If it's super thin paper, it will warp the paper, which isn't, that big of a deal usually. If it's really thin paper, a lot of times I'll just use the Scotch Create glue stick. But if it's real thick or has fabric on it, I use the Fabri-Tac. Okay, then for this page, since I don't have a lot going on here, first thing, well, obviously I'm going to ink around the edges. So basically this Chindi fabric, you can use it like sari silk. Anywhere where you would use sari silk, you can use this fabric. You can use it as a page topper as well, which I think I will do here. So I'm going to go sew those on, and I'll be right back. All right, so I've got these tabs sewn on, and you can see the journal is actually starting to come together. Now, one of the things I like to add in journals lately are these cute little envelopes. And it's basically just a strip of paper, and you fold over the one end to look like a point. And then I use some book page and glue it to the book page, and then cut it out, and then it has a nice lining. And then I'll put some paper in it for a notepad or a little, pull out notes. Okay, so I've taken this little envelope and I've sewn all the way around it, and I have taken a strip of paper and I rounded the corners, I inked the edges, I put a little stamp here that says forever, and what I'm going to do is just glue it right in there like so. So it has a little bit of a pull out, kind of a nice little surprise. And to do this, I'm just going to use a glue stick because it is thin paper going onto thin paper. I don't know why I inked the back side of it, but you get to inking like a crazy woman, and nothing is safe. Now, the trickiest part for me anyway with these is figuring out what to do for a closure. So I pulled out one of these little crocheted flowers that I have laying around, that little crocheted flower and a brad. So I'm going to put the brad through the little hole, open it up, and glue it to the front of the flap there. So I've got like the space between two petals right there. That's because I'm going to attach a string to the back that can wind around. So we'll have it on the back like this. It can wind around this brad from both sides, or even tie. So maybe I could just leave it long enough for that. So I'm going to glue the string to the back. And then that way, when it's closed, you just bring the string around like so. Just wind it around like a little coin envelope. And there you have a nice little embellishment. And I'm going to put this on the signature cover. I want to put some lace on this. And the lace that I'm going to use is this lace that I've had for a while. What I like about it is that it's this double edge, and I can cut it right down the center, and then I've got lace for both the front and the back. So this is the signature cover, and what I like about it is that already it has this cute little surprise that somebody can open up and look inside. Okay, so let's take another little piece of this guy, make a cool little embellishment, just like that. So it's really coming together. I pulled out this also, this little fussy cut, because I think it's adorable. I like this against that background. Oh, I like these daffodils against that background. So when you go to estate sales or garage sales or thrift stores, do you immediately gravitate toward the gardening books? I do. And it's not like I don't have enough, but I'm always looking for ones with hand-drawn illustrations, as well as the ones with the really pretty photos. But I really like the hand-drawn ones. So when I find one, I'm all over it. And I don't care if I have 10 others in my stash, because one day those 10 others will be gone, right? I hope. Okay, that needs a word. Much better. So, you know what? We're almost done with this. But yeah, there are a few more things that I know for sure I want to do, but I'm going to call it a day on this one. And I will pick it back up tomorrow, and then once I get it all done, I'll decide whether or not I'm going to turn it into 2 videos or just leave it as one. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and share, and let the serendipity find you. And I'll talk to you again soon in my next video. Bye, everybody.